Mass strikes across China. Is the resistance powder keg about to explode? Hostels in Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou overflow with young job seekers. Weibo removes associated trending searches. Investors gather outside Zhongrong Trust, demanding repayment. Chinese property developers facing multiple defaults, raising a question: where did the proceeds from property sales go? CCP's National Security Department reveals inside system individuals forming daring squad, plotting armed coup. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Mass strikes across China. Is the resistance powder keg about to explode? Due to the decline of the Chinese economy, people's lives are becoming increasingly difficult. In recent days, collective strikes and violent resistance events have erupted in multiple regions of China. Some netizens commented that under the authoritarian rule of the CCP, people's lives have become incredibly challenging, and each person is like a suppressed powder keg, ready to explode at any moment. A viral video shows that on August 16, bus drivers in Tai'an, Shandong, went on a collective strike. Due to local financial issues, their wages have been delayed for 7 months. Text on the video reads, "Employees need to eat." It's not limited to Shandong. According to netizen reports, on August 15, a large factory in Shenzhen with thousands of employees, Xian Electric, dissolved overnight. In May, the factory's employees went on a full-scale strike regarding housing fund issues. Netizens say that many companies in Shenzhen have started to delay wage payments, and by the end of the year, many might go bankrupt. It's not just workers, even food delivery riders have risen in resistance. Netizen reports revealed that on August 10, in Weiyue Plaza, Changzhou, Jiangsu, food delivery riders parked their vehicles in the parking lot while making deliveries, and the security guards of the plaza locked their bikes. The video shows many food delivery riders wearing yellow shirts breaking through the barriers, surrounded by security guards in blue. Netizens discussed, saying that the group of food delivery riders is like a modern-day beggar gang. They have organized themselves and are not to be trifled with. Many netizens sympathize with food delivery riders, saying, "Life is tough for everyone on the lower rungs. There's no need to make things difficult for each other." Furthermore, due to the pressure of earning a livelihood, there has been a significant increase in tragic and violent incidents claiming lives in China recently, especially in August of this year. Some netizens commented that under the despotic rule of the Chinese Communist Party, people's lives are extremely difficult, and activities that concern the soul and spirit, like religion, are not allowed to exist normally. Under this extreme pressure, most people find themselves in abnormal modes of thinking, habits, and psychological states. The frequent occurrence of such tragedies has become inevitable. In addition, in this economic environment, both ordinary citizens and government officials are financially strained. As a result, these lower-level officials will squeeze and exploit the common people even more ruthlessly. Therefore, the ordinary citizens will harbor more resentment and resort to more violent resistance against these officials. All of these are the bitter consequences caused by the party's leadership. Hostels in Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou overflow with young job seekers. Weibo removes associated trending searches. As previously reported, amidst the youth unemployment rate in China has repeatedly reached new highs. On August 15, the Chinese National Bureau of Statistics even announced the suspension of publishing the youth unemployment rate, which has attracted significant attention from the outside world. On the same day, the magazine Sanlian Life Weekly published a special report titled "In the Youth Hostels of Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou, Crowded with Young People Who Can't Find Jobs," which drew public attention. According to the report, during the most challenging job season, many young people left their homes and came to Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou in search of more job opportunities. Youth hostels, due to their low costs and the stay-as-you-go model, have become their best choice for settling down in big cities. Those who wander in the youth hostels in the city centers, some have experienced repeated unemployment but still remain hopeful, while others have gone round and round back to the starting point, without finding their own direction. The magazine interviewed a young man named Zhongrong, 24-year-old, who is from Nantong, Jiangsu province, and searching for jobs in Guangzhou. Zhang resides in a youth hostel where the daily rent is 60 yuan, about $8.25. He has to find every possible way to save money. To cut costs, he goes to the library to drink free water, eats only one proper meal a day, and sometimes walks 3 to 4 kilometers from the youth hostel to a nearby food wholesale market to buy biscuits or instant noodles to fill his stomach. During the interview, he even opened his refrigerator and pointed to some sticky rice dumplings that he hadn't finished eating for 2 weeks, saying, "I can rely on these for a few more days this week." After the publication of this article, the hashtag people flocking to youth hostels in Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou because they can't find jobs hashtag trended, but it was subsequently blocked on Weibo. Notably, Sanlian Link's Life Weekly has opened up its Weibo comments section, and a large number of netizens have left messages, expressing that they were shocked when they actually opened up the comments section. One user mocked, "Are you intentionally causing trouble?" The Statistics Bureau just announced today that they won't be calculating the youth unemployment rate anymore, and you're promoting this. What's your intention? Another commented, "They're covering themselves, yet you're uncovering them." I'm dying of laughter. Some netizens pointed out, the reality is that many locals in Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen have been unemployed for a long time. If they don't take strong measures to stabilize employment, it will cause significant social problems. However, this attention-grabbing article has been blocked by Weibo. In response to this, current affairs commentator Wang He believes that in the midst of a substantial youth unemployment issue, the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, authorities are employing an ostrich-like strategy, evading reality by suspending the publication of the youth unemployment rate. Yet, their heavy-handed tactics could potentially trigger heightened dissatisfaction and public outrage. In the present era, with the advancement of the internet, interpersonal interactions disseminate through online platforms, and despite the utilization of sophisticated surveillance and monitoring techniques, the CCP might struggle to fully sever these interconnected relationships. Analysts suggest that the public's anger towards the CCP is not just confined to the elderly or the white paper movement. It's becoming widespread and deeply rooted. Wang Yi believes that the CCP is revealing a dual crisis. One is the crisis of whether Xi Jinping can continue to govern, the other is the crisis of how long the CCP's regime can hold on. More and more people are awakening, and even without Xi Jinping's leadership, they want to see the Communist Party step down. He said, "The situation in China is extremely serious, and major changes may be lurking within." Investors gather outside Zhongrong Trust, demanding repayment. A wave of debt defaults is rampant throughout China. It's not limited to the real estate industry but also extends to China's extensive shadow banking sector. The news of payment defaults by China's long-standing trust company, Zhongrong Trust, has ignited public discussions. According to a Bloomberg report, video footage of the event shows approximately 20 angry protesters gathered outside the Zhongrong Trust office building in Beijing. They are demanding that this trust giant fulfill its high-yield investment products. Later, the protesters in Beijing encountered about 10 police officers and security personnel, while a company official attempted to maintain order. An angry woman questions, "Why isn't the company repaying us?" She says, "It's already past the due date, and your financial reports show profits." Another woman shouts, "Give us our money back, or we'll die here." Protests stemming from financial disputes are relatively common in China, but authorities are unlikely to tolerate them, especially in the stability-focused capital, Beijing. As evidence, according to Bloomberg, a reporter visited Zhongrong Trust's office building on Wednesday afternoon and didn't see any protesters at that time. However, there was an unusually dense police presence around the building. Several police cars and vehicles were parked inside and outside the Zhongrong Trust office building, with officers inside. Additionally, more police cars were parked on nearby streets, while workers were erecting additional barriers around the building. Insiders have informed Bloomberg that Wang Chang, the board secretary of Zhongrong Trust, revealed to investors in a meeting earlier this week that the company's liquidity suddenly dried up. Therefore, the company is facing an avalanche-like questioning from investors and their wealth managers. Bloomberg states that the eruption of protest activities indicates that the problems facing China's distressed shadow banking sector are more severe than previously known, highlighting how the slowdown in the real estate market is spreading its impact to the financial sector. Trust companies are a significant part of China's shadow banking system, which consists of non-bank lending entities. Apart from managing entrusted assets, many trust companies also directly sell high-yield investment products to corporations and individuals. These trust companies invest raised funds in various assets or provide direct loans to companies or real estate projects, often those unable to secure financing from traditional banks or the bond market. Zhongrong Trust's annual report shows that real estate accounts for 11% of the 629 billion yuan, approximately $3.9 billion, in trust assets it manages. Last year, the company purchased shares in at least 10 real estate projects, banking on unfinished properties generating cash to repay part of the funds in their $230 billion real estate support fund issued to investors. However, the expected rebound in the real estate market that the company bet on has yet to materialize. Given a series of disappointing economic data, fresh concerns about the real estate industry, and the spreading crisis in the shadow banking system, pressures on China's financial market are mounting. Despite the central bank's interest rate cut on August 15, investor confidence has not been boosted. Data provider Use Trust indicates that Zhongrong Trust is set to have 270 products mature this year, with a total value of 39.5 billion yuan, approximately $5.4 billion. Bloomberg Economics noted in a statement, the biggest danger is that a negative feedback loop is starting to kick in, where real estate pressures are causing financial system stress, impairing credit expansion, restraining economic growth, which in turn is exacerbating the slump in the property sector. Chinese property developers facing multiple defaults, raising a question: where did the proceeds from property sales go? Continuing with news related to China's real estate situation. The successive outbreaks of debt crises among Chinese real estate enterprises, from Evergrande to Country Garden, have stunned the nation. People across online communities are all asking, with such high property prices and buyers paying so much money, where did all the money go when these real estate companies are left with so much debt? In response to users' requests, the financial platform Initial Good Investment recently published an article that thoroughly analyzes the flow of funds in Chinese real estate companies. The article provides a clear explanation to the widely concerned question of where does the money from property sales go? This article has attracted a lot of attention and has become popular within online communities. This piece begins by straightforwardly explaining that to understand where the money from property sales goes, one must first comprehend how much money real estate companies make through property sales. This involves examining the cash received from selling goods and providing services, as seen in cash flow statements. The article then uses Vanke, a large residential real estate developer in China, as an example to provide a detailed analysis of how the company's funds obtained through property sales are expended. Over the 12-year period from 2011 to 2022, Vanke's total revenue from property sales amounted to 3.4791 trillion yuan, constituting its core business income. It mainly includes the following expenditures. Firstly, dividends. Vanke, known as China's dividend giant, distributed a total of 90.6 billion yuan in dividends over the mentioned 12 years, accounting for only 2.6% of its cash revenue from property sales. In comparison, Evergrande and Country Garden had even lower dividend figures, at 80.8 billion yuan and 79.4 billion yuan respectively. Secondly, employee wages. Over the past 12 years, Vanke paid a total of 119.7 billion yuan in wages to employees, with an average annual salary of 125,000 yuan, approximately $17,117 per person, constituting only 3.44% of its cash revenue. Thirdly, interest payments to banks. Vanke paid a total of 178 billion yuan to banks over the 12 years, making up 5.12% of its revenue in cash. Fourthly, payments to upstream suppliers for materials. Over the past 12 years, Bank paid a total of 1.2248 trillion yuan to upstream enterprises, accounting for 35.2% of the cash received. This constitutes a significant portion of bank's cash flow. Fifthly, land acquisition expenses. Over the 12-year period, bank's total funding for land acquisition amounted to 1.2172 trillion yuan, constituting 34.99% of its cash revenue. This is another significant aspect of the cash flow. Lastly, various taxes and fees paid. Over the past 12 years, bank paid a total of 464.7 billion yuan in various taxes and fees, making up 13.36% of its revenue in cash. This is higher than the combined total of payments to employees, dividends, and banks. Seventhly, it's the formation of fixed assets. Over the 12 years, bank's cash used for constructing fixed assets amounted to 53 billion yuan, accounting for only 1.5%, which can be considered relatively low. When summing up the amounts spent in these 7 major aspects, they collectively make up 96.2% of bank's property purchasing income. To further clarify and summarize the above data, audiences can see clearly, the combined amount spent by bank over the 12 years for land acquisition and tax payments constitutes 48.36% of its cash revenue, nearly half of the income. Following that is the amount taken by upstream enterprises, accounting for 35%. Finally, the funds used for banks, employees, and shareholders, dividends, collectively make up only 11.16% of the total. The article concludes by pointing out that bank's financial situation is roughly as described, and it's estimated that Country Garden, Sunac, and Evergrande's cash flow directions are also not significantly different. After the article has gone viral on the internet, it has sparked heated discussions among Chinese internet users. One netizen commented, "So, it means that half of the money is paid to the government through land acquisition and taxes." Another quickly added, "This hasn't even taken into account the taxes paid by homebuyers and the interest paid on their loans." Another netizen wrote, "Indeed, some real estate developers have said that the communities they developed haven't even covered their costs yet, as they spend a lot on land." The frightening part is the upstream portion, where a significant amount of money also flows to the state. CCP's National Security Department reveals inside system individuals forming daring squad, plotting armed coup. On August 15, the WeChat official account of the Chinese Ministry of State Security suddenly disclosed an old case, claiming that there was an attempt to subvert the state power in Yunnan, which supposedly reflects the situation of political security facing China. It is understood that the person involved in the case, a retired cadre from a school in Yunnan province, China, named Zissou, had been consistently expressing what is referred to as reactionary speech on the internet. Dissatisfied with the actions of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, in 2016, he planned to purchase weapons from abroad and recruit a suicide squad within China, aiming to overthrow the government. This operation was named the China Benghazi Project. However, during the planning phase, the CCP became aware of the situation, and the individuals involved were subsequently arrested. In 2019, they were sentenced to 4 years in prison by the authorities. Insiders revealed that Zissou was originally a member of the CCP system, but due to his involvement in dissent and resistance since the June 4 incident in 1989, he was arrested previously. In reality, the most recent arrest was mainly due to his opposition to Xi Jinping remaining in power. The re-emergence of this case has raised suspicions about the true purpose behind it. Recently, Xi Jinping has been reorganizing the entire national security system, demanding loyalty above all else. Now, with the release of this case, it's believed that the situation is extremely tense. Analysts suggest that under high pressure, it's possible that there are individuals within the system who are acting as both low-level reds and high-level blacks. It means that there might be individuals within the system who publicly show allegiance to the CCP but are involved in hidden or questionable activities that go against the party's principles. Commentator Wang Yi stated, in 2016, there were already people who wanted to overthrow Xi Jinping, so the situation now is much worse than in 2016, right? Regardless of the official explanation of this case, the actual release of this information brings about excitement and stimulation, which might objectively encourage more people to oppose Xi Jinping. Zhou Fengsuo, executive director of Chinese Human Rights, expressed to Radio Free Asia that China is reaching a point where authorities are pushing the people to rebel against them. He stated that the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, when cornered, employs the tactic of using cases like the one involving Zissou to divert attention from internal conflicts, which is an old strategy to create enemies and shift focus away from economic difficulties and youth unemployment rates. He mentioned that as a result, people in China are now living in a state of constant self-caution, leading to widespread reports and accusations. This situation could trigger unforeseen reactions that the CCP might not have anticipated, potentially causing the party to self-destruct. Don't forget to comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.